Hello guys, Bashar here. We are together with another Grim Dawn video. I talked about Crucible in the last video. Now we are going to talk about the Shattered Realm. The Shattered Realm is a feature from the latest expansion of Grim Dawn, which is called Forgotten Gods, which can be accessed after finishing Act 1, killing Warden Krieg. An NPC will pop up in front of the Devil's Crossing, and he will take you to the conclave of the tree with this portal here. So, and after doing a bit of introductory quests, which are very short, you can talk to Mazan, Keeper of Portals. He serves like Lokar in Crucible. I mean, you can talk to him to start, you can talk to him to finish, etc. So the Shattered Realm is somewhat similar to the Crucible. I will go into details now. So the levels are called shards in the Forgotten Realm. It's a place of no loot like the Crucible, and you only get the loot in the end. Death doesn't mark the end. I mean, you have a timer, which I will show, and the timer, you lose some time from the timer when you die. You can continue after dying, and like Crucible, you can go on after the timer runs out. The rewards just tend to be smaller. So every shard is grouped into 4 sub-levels. There are 4 chunks, and the first 3 chunks are levels where there is a progress bar, and killing enemies yields you with progress, and they sometimes drop stuff called Shattered Souls, which I will go into. And after you fill the progress bar, you proceed to the next chunk, and after finishing the 3rd chunk, you will fight some bosses in the 4th chunk, and successfully killing the boss will mean the completion of the shard. And the shards go up infinitely, guys. I mean, it just gets harder and harder and harder up to the point where no character can be successful. Shard 20 on Ultimate is kind of equivalent to the gameplay experience. So if I'm doing Shard 20 in the Shattered Realm, which means it's like I'm playing the regular game, and after that it gets harder, guys. I mean, 25 is noticeably harder. So about the Shattered Souls, regular enemies or heroes or bosses or even nemesis will appear in higher levels. They drop Shattered Souls. The normal enemies drop Shattered Souls rarely. The heroes drop Mighty Shattered Souls all the time, and the bosses and nemesis will drop Celestial ones, and there are some levels that drop overwhelmingly Shattered Souls. They just give award instant completion, and generally there's not much else to fight in those levels other than the monster that drops the overwhelming Shattered Soul. So there is a timer, and killing heroes, bosses or nemesis gives you additional timer. Killing several enemies at once before the timer goes off gives you additional seconds. Unless you have a slow build, it generally is relatively easy to progress. Depends on the level, of course. And the number of bosses keeps increasing as well. I mean, you are facing harder bosses and you are facing more bosses, guys. So like I said, at some point it just becomes kind of impossible. Depends on the build, of course. Some builds have a higher ceiling, some builds have a lower ceiling. It varies. So I think that's about it. And So you generally start from shard 1 and go up. I mean, you can just stop after completing the first shard, or you can go up as much as you like. And you can imagine, guys, getting to shard 70, for example, will be very time consuming. So there are things called waystones here, which you can craft at a blacksmith. There, no, here, no, there. Yeah. There are these waystones. These, for example, this waystone, if we make a shattered waystone and offer it to Mazan, he says, do you want to start from the 5th shard, the 10th shard, or the 15th shard? This goes on 20, 25, 30. You can imagine. And the highest you can start from is the 75th. And guys, as you can imagine from the warning, this waystone should not be used by the faint of heart. These are very, very hard levels. The number of shattered souls you can collect has a cap. And the shattered souls also give you damage reduction and damage increase. So the first 10 levels you are allowed to have 5 stacks, I think, and from 11 to 25 or so you are allowed to have 8. Then it goes up to 10, and finally at level 61 it goes up to 12. And if you manage to get 12 stacks, guys, it gives you 36% damage reduction and almost double damage. But of course, these buffs sadly last only 18 seconds, so you shouldn't mess around. You just should keep killing and get more souls to refresh the duration of the buff. So, like I said, for example, guys, for a regular character, I mean, which is not min-maxed and which is not very optimal, even 20 is not very easy. But if you have a good character, it can go up to 70s, 80s, 90s. I have heard of characters that can do 100, but those are extremely hard. I'll just get desecrated. And as I said, you can just stop after even a single shard too. I can go in there, I'll just do the 60th shard, and I say that's okay, I'm done, and I can go out. Another thing, guys, just like the Crucible, if the timer runs out, you can go on. So for example, you want to do the 20th shard, but at the 18th shard your timer actually ran out, then the timer bonuses blah blah will just be disabled. You will have 0 seconds and the timer will stop ticking, and you can play as much as you like with 0 timer. The punishment for that is getting less reward at the end. But guys, there is one reason to push this. In Ultimate, there is a Shattered Realm set. Do I have it here? I don't. Okay. It's a very good set. It goes for everyone. It's very defensive, but also provides you with nice stats. After completing the 20th shard, you are allowed to buy the chest from the vendor at the end. After completing the 30th shard, you are allowed to get the gloves or what? The amulet. At the 45th shard, you are allowed to buy the shoulder armor. And at the 60th shard, you can buy the helmet. And like I said, guys, 60 is no joke. I mean, my first character can barely do 5 or so, maybe 10. I mean, I didn't push too far. My second character, which I have build guides on in the channel, was relatively decent. He barely did 20. I mean, I could force probably 25, but 30 would be a real pain. I mean, since you do not run out of time, you can just keep doing and doing and doing. Maybe I could very hardly push 30 with consumables and something, but definitely he wouldn't go higher. And this guy is fully optimized and he can do 75 without problems. I mean, I can die at times, but I mean, can go quite higher. I will demonstrate 60 now, so we can just start from here, or okay, let's pick 60, and at 60 we will have a cap of 10 stacks, and at 61 we will be allowed to use to get 12 stacks. The problem here is, guys, I mean, since you can actually get higher stacks, you can feel like 61 might be easier than 60. That might be not incorrect entirely, but the problem is, guys, during boss fights the Shattered Soul buff clears. So you have to man up and take the boss down yourself without any buffs. That's the problem. And there are sometimes shrines in there. The shrines are a bit weird. They actually take something from you and give you something. I mean, you always lose something as well. And the number of mutators is huge. I mean, if you remember, the Crucible ends up with 5 mutators. I mean, from shard 130, from level 130 to level 70, you have 5 mutators on you, I think. And in here, it can go up to 10 or so. We'll see now. Let's go. And there are different levels. Sometimes the completion is easier. Sometimes the completion is harder. Okay. Let's go. I'm hoping to get some Shattered Souls here. As you can see, guys, and for this character, ultimate is a joke, by the way. So we have gathered 3 already. And the progress bar is up here, as you can see. Oh no. Yeah, it's not like Crucible, by the way. In Crucible, as you remember, death means the end. In here, it's not, so you just lose some timer. Okay, these guys are very problematic. The Arcane property and the Void Oppressors, they can turn off your auras. You have to be careful, guys. He didn't. But, you know, the abilities that reserve mana and give you some bonuses, they can turn these off. That can be very annoying for some builds. And as you can see, guys, we are taking a lot of damage. Okay, and we have completed the shard. The chunk. Let me correct myself. So level 1 is complete. Now we are going for level 2, chunk 2. Okay, well, this is a very easy level, guys, because nothing gives progress like the number of monsters you killed. I mean, of course, the elites, the bosses, the nemesis give a lot of progress as well, but they are pretty hard. That's the problem, guys. Okay. Okay, no stack. That's a shame. We can lose our stack if they don't drop now. Okay, we are up to... Yeah, we lost it. 2 stacks. We are down to 2 stacks now. Okay. That's decent. So, the Shattered Souls give you progress and the buff. So, guys, it's imperative that you pick it up. I mean, if it's behind you, it's worth walking there, because it also refreshes the duration on yours. Okay, we are capped, as you can see, 10 stacks here. And the level is almost complete. I mean, it might look like a walk in the park. It kinda is, I'll be honest. But thing is, guys, this build is extremely strong. I have a video of the build in the channel if you want to take a look. It's a vitality, damage over time, conjurer build. Okay, these guys are a bit annoying. Always keep an eye here, guys. My HP is, as you can see, 14,857, and one of my auras actually give me HP. So if my HP is any different, I know that my auras have been turned off, because in the heat of combat you can miss that stuff. And as you can see, guys, 6 mutators already. I mean, the cap of Crucible is 5, like I said, and I think it is 9 mutators at 75 or so. So without the buff, it's a bit hard. So the first few trash that you kill dropping is nice. So there's the buff here. You have to provide a valuable component, and yeah, increase damage but more vulnerable to physical attacks. Let's just skip it. I mean, it requires me to provide the blood of Cthulhu. Okay, so now we are in the 3rd chunk, and after I fill the progress bar here, we will face the bosses. Generally, try to go for... bosses are hard. We haven't faced a boss on the map. No. Normally, guys, there are bosses around. I mean, it varies, of course. We didn't find any yet. The bosses give a lot of progress, as you can imagine, and they give the maximum stack, maximum allowed stack. Okay, let's just do it. Okay, this place should be enough. Oh, almost died. And as you can see, the timer is of no concern, right? And being so far ahead in timer has one advantage, guys. You can try to pull the bosses one by one, which is what you should do at if you are 60 or so. It's not very easy. I mean, if you face all 5 bosses together, it becomes pretty annoying. Okay, let's take a look. None of them is coming. That's lucky. Okay. Okay, one of them is coming. Let's fall back. That's Archmage Alexander, or that's the Shattered Sentinel. All right. And if you take a look at the HP, guys, it's 6.3 million. And normally the Nemesis have 4.5 million or so in the base game. So these are harder than Nemesis, and you face 4 at a time. Okay, that's Kaisen. Yeah. Okay, I think we can take them for a short while, but this guy moving around is extremely annoying, of course, because we need them to stand in the region. Okay, one of them is down. So guys, you should not move around much. As you can see, this can be the result. Okay, this guy is done. Let's just wait though. I mean, at 60 I can actually face them in multiples, I think, but I'm just making sure. I mean, there is no issue with the timer anyway. Okay, Salazin. Okay, so for example, guys, this guy is a boss. It's not a Nemesis, and therefore his resistances are lower. So these guys are much less of a threat. I mean, even though it doesn't look like it, the HP is the same. Their natural base resistances are much lower. Okay. Goodbye. Yeah. Shattered Executioner. These are the Shattered Realm bosses, I think. And you do not encounter these in game. And as you can see, guys, the HP is just nothing to us, right? I mean, we can kill it in a few seconds. Yeah, goodbye. Now, die. Yes. So Mazan is up now, and we are given the option to claim the reward or proceed. Let's do one more shard, and at 61, if I remember correctly, the buff goes up to 12 stacks. 36% damage reduction and almost double damage. 96% damage up, I think. So these Shattered Souls are very important, guys. I mean, these give you a nice kickoff. Okay. That's dangerous. There are the either areas. Okay. Okay. Do not expire, please. Do not expire before the thingy dies. Do not expire. Yes. Okay, it didn't expire. That's good. Okay, another. See, there's a boss here. That's actually a Nemesis. Let's face him. I think we can take him. That is the Order of Death's Vigil Nemesis, I think. By the way, guys, just like the Crucible, the kills do not award reputation in here. I mean, okay. So there is no reason for us to kill this, right? Because we need only a little bit of progress, yeah. So there's no need to kill the boss. Regular monsters, heroes, bosses, Nemesis bosses, and finally super bosses. Super bosses do not appear here, by the way. Have all different base resistances, guys. I mean, they can have very... For example, super bosses are completely immune to most of the stuff. So, if you are facing a Nemesis or a boss in here, that actually matters. You do not have any control over it, though. Okay. Did we max 11 stacks already? So we should aspire to not lose this 12 stacks. Okay. I mean, I am doing double damage here, guys. Everything will get destroyed. Yes. I mean, finishing the level is just finding some monsters before our stacks end at this point, because 36% damage reduction, double damage. As you can see, we are wrecking everything. Okay. Okay. Go. Go. Okay. That's about it. I think this should finish. Die. Die. Okay, that's about it. Okay, one more shard. There are some different shards. Like I said, with one extremely powerful monster and some trash monsters that are helping it, which give no progress whatsoever. But this is the base experience, as you can see from our 6th level, guys. There are monsters all about. You kill them, you get progress. Oh, there's the boss. Oh, that's extremely dangerous. Can easily kill us, guys. I mean, can easily kill us even in low levels, because this guy removes the buffs. That's his base ability. I should watch my HP closely. Yeah, he turned off our buffs now. Bastard. Okay. Well, since the shard was relatively low, we could kill it pretty quickly before he did any real damage. So I refreshed them all, as you can see, these 4. And the monsters with the, as you can see, this guy says unstoppable. These guys have some abilities related to those keywords, and if it's arcane monsters can also do that. Wipe away your buffs. Void oppressors can do that as well. You definitely should keep an eye on it, because, guys, those abilities generally give you resistances, damage reduction, all sorts of stuff, and losing all of them at once can be pretty fatal. I mean, you would lose a lot of potential. And the shard is over. It's boss time. Let me face multiples at once. Let's see how that goes. Okay, it's the same area. We are lucky. This is one of the good areas, because some areas are small and you have to face them all. Okay, for example, this. Okay, 5 bosses this time, by the way, not 4. That's Banjar. For example, this guy is a regular boss, but this is a nemesis boss, guys. As you can see, the name's in a different color. And like I said, that means, okay, I'm dying. I have to be careful. Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't have done this, by the way. It's a bit too much, yeah. I think I'm gonna die here. It's no problem, by the way. The only problem is that they heal, guys. Oh no, more Silake. That's the undead nemesis. Okay, if I can take down this guy at least. Die now, sir. Okay. Yeah, Banjar. The Chthonian nemesis keeps. Okay, that's very interesting. I mean, he does it very, very quickly. I mean, that rooting ability is this guy's ability, guys. And he kind of does it too often. I'm just trying to line of sight the others at the very least. Okay. Oh, I mean, and as you can imagine, guys, if I tried this stunt in a higher difficulty, I would have died. Oh, I do not have HP potions, actually. That's why I wasn't healing. Okay, that was stupid. And my buffs are turned off. Yeah, a little too many all at once. Okay, that's a bit of crystals. Okay. 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 Wow, that was the most stupid thing I ever saw, I guess. Permanent stun lock, yeah. Good job there, buddy. Yeah, our self-heal is very powerful, guys. Running out of potions was a bit funny. Okay, I'm just trying to line of sight these crystals over there. Yeah, I shouldn't have moved. And that's why you do it one by one, guys. I mean, like I said, I have a very powerful build. I mean, that's entirely my fault. I guess I had over 100 and wandered them, and I was left with only a few, and that's why I ran out of flasks. So let's claim the reward. Let me show you. You are sent to this place, which contains also a shrine in all difficulties. So that's the reward for 60 and 61, guys. Of course, the reward gets bigger the higher you climb, and the bigger the climb is. I mean, climbing from 40 to 61 is not equal to climbing from 60 to 61, right? Okay. I actually am looking for some recipes, guys. I mean, I don't really need much at this point. Yeah. But I have a lot of... Wow, by the way, guys, this is quite a big reward for just 2 shards. But like I said, 60 is quite something. Okay, whoa. The amount of... 0 recipes? That's a shame. Yeah, no recipes. Oh, 1 recipe. Valgur's Gems. Okay, it's a shaman helmet, it seems. Thing is, guys, when a recipe drops, it cannot drop again, so... And I still am missing quite a few. There is literally hundreds of recipes around. But the reward is pretty insane. I mean, I generally do it 5 shards at a time, but for the purpose of the video it will be too long, so I just cut it at 2. So that's the vendor, and as you can see, guys, since we have completed 60, he allows us to buy the armor, the helmet, the shoulder, and the amulet. And the set bonus is, as you can see, it's perfectly neutral. I mean, provides all damage, offensive ability, resistances, and the full set gives you health, energy regen, crowd control resistance, +2 to all skills, and also 25% resistance to life reduction. That's very important, guys, because some enemies reduce your life, and some mutators also reduce your life, and sometimes it can be quite lower than what you are used to. I mean, if you have like around 15k like I do, and you have a health mutator which brings it down to 13.5k or so, and then there is another, the void oppressors, blah blah, they reduce your health as well. You can go 10k, or maybe if they wipe off your auras, you can go even lower, and that means dying pretty quickly. So that's also useful. And guys, the amulet also is a very nice modifier, which gives you +3 all max res, which is very strong, guys. +3 max all res is insane. I mean, you are allowed to have 83 resistance of all kinds. It's a decent set, varies, and the Shatter Guard ability, I think, gives you some damage reduction and damage increase or something when your HP is low. So that's about it for the Shattered round, guys. If you have any questions, and to get the Waystone recipes, guys, you have to complete a shard that allows you to obtain the Waystone. For example, if you complete the 5th shard, you will be given the Shattered Waystone recipe from these chests. If you complete the 20th, you get the upper tier, and so on. And these actually, guys, can be used. Let me show you that one. And now I moved out. So let me show you here. So for example, guys, this Waystone is the highest tier, and it says it can be used to open the way up to 65th shard, 70th shard, or 75th shard. I mean, it goes always in the multiples of 5. But thing is that you can save some time. I mean, I can do 65 in normal difficulty, guys, which will give me this recipe for the Celestial Waystone. And I start playing Ultimate, and I can craft the Celestial Waystone, and that would allow me to open the way up to the 65th shard, even never having done Shattered Realm on Ultimate difficulty before. However, guys, normally Celestial Waystone allows you to open the way up to 65, 70 or 75th. You cannot do 70th or 75th shards before completing them yourselves. But like I said, you can directly start from 65 without having done. For example, in Elite, I haven't done Shattered Realm, but I can just craft the Celestial Waystone and start from the 65th shard right away. And in Ultimate difficulty, guys, completing the 5th, the 15th, and the 25th shards give you a skill point, and a skill point and an attribute point respectively, if I remember correctly. So there is some merit in getting this done. And as you can see, the loot is fine. This is the end game for Grim Dawn right now, guys. I mean, because after some point, even the nemesis are quite simple, as you can imagine, guys. I mean, doing 5 bosses at the same time, which have 50% more HP than nemesis. I mean, nemesis, regular game nemesis are a joke for this build. So this is the end game, and it gives a pretty nice amount of loot as well. I mean, if you do a 5 shard run and then go out, it gives pretty decent loot. So that's about it, guys. Feel free to ask any questions. See you. Bye bye.